Why is it that some tech CEOs are like celebrities and some celebrities are getting into tech? Here to talk about the convergence of Hollywood and technology is Angela Acharya-Bath, a partner at the VC firm Trinity Ventures. Good to see you here in New York.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
You know, it's very interesting if you look at some of the names in technology, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg, the late Steve Jobs. I mean, they really became these larger-than-life celebrity figures. Why have we seen that happen in technology in particular?
I think it's because technology has really infiltrated pop culture. So I think, when I think about my heroes in pop culture and in tech, I mean, Steve Jobs always came to mind. I remember having a conversation with Jimmy Iovine, who's the founder of Beats by Dre, which sold to Apple and Interscope Records, and I've always seen him as the godfather of pop culture. And I remember having a whole conversation with him about pop culture and tech converging, and Steve Jobs really being the person that led that revolution. Because when you think about the iPod, it really did sort of become this iconic product within pop culture. So I think it's got a lot to do when you think about Facebook, and when you think about Instagram, and when you think about these tech companies that have really are creating, shaping, and driving our pop culture now. I think it's natural that those CEOs and those founders would actually play a role within pop culture as celebrities too. So that's kind of where I see it sort of converging.
So does this explain why you have some Hollywood types, Justin Bieber, Ashton Kutcher, that are now investing in startups? I mean, what is the attraction if you are an established celebrity? You don't need the money. So what is it that draws them in?
I don't think they need the money, by the way.
Well, that's true. They need more money, I guess.
It's so funny. I think, when you work on the celebrity side, I've worked with a number of really major A-list celebrities. I think that they always think that they need more money. And when you look at sort of these tech billionaires and, Instagram selling for billions of dollars or Beats by Dre selling for billions of dollars, I think ultimately what happens is these celebrities think, well, I have this huge following in pop culture. I have this, huge fan base. How can I turn that into even, bigger returns? And then when they see these tech companies sell for billions of dollars, they're like, I need to be a part of that. I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, Ashton Kutcher has really made a huge move into technology. And, he's got a really enviable portfolio with some of the top, unicorns in there, like Uber, for example. And I think he's an investor in Airbnb too. So I think it's like, tech has become part of the trend. It's become part of pop culture. And I think those pop culture icons, whether it's Kim Kardashian or Justin Bieber or whoever, see their fan bases and see the access they have and see they should get in on it.
Is technology still very much the sweet spot in the VC environment? Is there a certain sliver of tech that's really attracting a lot of interest now?
You know what I'm really interested in? I can only speak for myself, and I think that you've got different people, different funds interested in different things. But I think sort of what's being built on messaging apps is really interesting. So commerce on messaging apps. I think these days, I just speak for myself, and you see what's happening in Asia as well on kind of like WeChat, for example. People are actually doing commerce while they're on WhatsApp or these messaging apps. And I see that shift happening here. I mean, it's interesting when I look at the things that, from an angel investment standpoint, I've invested in. I've always looked for shifts in culture. So for example, I invested in ClassPass very early on. I was the first investor into ClassPass. And I saw this shift from like people going from gyms to boutique classes and wanting the variety and this whole millennial generation that didn't want to be stuck with one thing. And I saw this shift there. And I see that shift now with technology in terms of messaging apps where people are spending all of their time on Slack or, on WhatsApp or, on Facebook Messenger. And what's interesting to me is just like when I switch to my email, I feel like it's clunky, I feel like it's old, it's not real time, it feels slow to me now. So I think it's just a natural progression that people are going to start doing commerce on apps as well.
Do we have any shortage in either ideas or money in the VC world these days, or are we flush with all of it?
You know what? It's a dichotomy, really, because you've got all these funds that have just raised all of this money, right? But then everybody's telling you, as an entrepreneur to sort of like pull in your buckle and it's going to be hard to raise money. And I think the reality is that I don't think money's dried up. I think there's actually a lot of money. I think people are just going to be, tougher in their decision making in terms of who they're going to invest in. And I think that a lot of the valuations are going to come down, and I think a lot of VCs are waiting for those valuations to come down, and they're seeing, the kind of the movement in the market. So I actually think there's money there, and I actually think there's good ideas there. I think people are just going to be scrutinized a bit more.
How about exits to the public market? Any change there?
Well, I think, it's a tough market right now, right? I mean, so I think there's definitely, I think that's just definitely going to be a tougher place to be.
Angela Acharya-Bath, great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Street.